It's time for a look back at our top stories of the week. A mother of four embodies the meaning of adversity and is now encouraging other survivors of domestic violence to do the same. As Eleanor Tabone explains, women like her are turning a fearful experience into experiences to be celebrated.
My earliest memories are not the circus, not the park, it's seeing my mom get pushed through a deck window 9 months pregnant with my brother. I thought, when I get big, I'm not gonna go through that.
Monique Bailey never imagined the man she married, the man who was her comfort and solace.
After 4 kids, 10 years of marriage, his character started to change and I no longer felt safe. And he was threatening me constantly, saying, if I think you're cheating, I'm gonna beat the F out of you. I'm gonna stomp the F out of you. I'll do this, I'll do that.
Would become the man she feared the most.
And he came home and yet again he was accusing me. And for an hour and a half, I was scared to even get up to use a restroom because I didn't even know if this would be the day it was triggered and he would just explode.
Monique says her priority became getting herself and her 4 kids to safety. She fled, the fear of her now ex-husband always lurking. She wrapped her protective wings around her children and drove for days to Iowa.
There's some fortitude that rises in me every time I think about my kids need to see me win. So even though I might be scared on my own, I have to be courageous for them.
Monique's strength and resilience was again tested. She had to find a way to feed 4 mouths.
And make sure they weren't under a bridge because I somehow couldn't figure this out.
Primarily, our services and our numbers have increased significantly. On a daily basis, we may see an average of 10 to 15 intakes.
Sharon Henry with the New Orleans Family Justice Center says survivors like Monique are giving others hope.
And now they not only are surviving, but they are thriving and growing, and they came back to share their stories and to give hope.
Monique is showing not only survivors, but her own children that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel if you look hard enough.
Bought the LSAT book, took the test, got in, and the rest is history. Not only did I go on to go to law school, along the way I earned not 1 but 2 additional degrees.
She's urging women to recognize signs of control, find the courage to stand up to their abusers, and remind them their voice is their most powerful tool.
An anaconda is a huge, strong snake. It can never chase you down, but it wraps around you gently. And it gets tighter and tighter until it squeezes the life out of you.
No one should face abuse alone. Survivors and advocates say it's our collective responsibility to hold survivors close, uplift their voices, and offer them the unwavering support they deserve. Because combined with a survivor's inner strength, the impossible becomes possible. Eleanor Tabone, WWL, Louisiana.
There are still people in our area living with some major home damage from Hurricane Ida, which was 3 years ago. After seeing the condition of a neighbor's home, a Marrero man turned to us for help. As our Mae Ferris explains, each neighbor is looking out for the other.
Justin Smart dedicates his life to helping others. As a little boy, he was disabled from having the red and German measles at the same time. Still, he's devoted to the care of his impaired elderly mother.
I would do anything. I would crawl on the floor right now. Sometimes I'd be on my hands and knees to help my mother because I will never forget what she done for me.
She fought for him when he was bullied in school to get an education, leading to a productive career. Still, with all his struggles, he called WWL Louisiana for help, but not for himself. But yet you're calling us about your neighbor.
Yes.
Why? Why, Justin?
Man, the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And that guy, Ramon, he just is a blessing.
Castro taking the children,
Yeah.
the new generation, and pushing the army. They do a lot of things, bad things. I see liquor, a lot of liquor.
Ramon Perez escaped communist Cuba. In the U.S., became a crane operator, retired, and now lives on $800 a month. He can't afford insurance, so he's been living with these massive holes everywhere in his roof. Still, Ramon helps Justin with everything from yard work to putting out the garbage and bringing in the groceries. Why are you so good to your neighbors?
I like to do it that way. I feel comfortable for I hope the people. My whole neighbor over there, my whole neighbor over here, everybody.
Jefferson Parish cited Ramon for having all this disrepair. When they found out that he could not afford to repair it, they signed him up for a special grant program. He was approved. It's $22,000 worth of damage that they say. Now he's waiting for that long process to go through. After we talked to the parish today about Ramon's situation, they're sending a crew out to cover the holes with tarps to give him some protection as they wait for the environmental report, bid process, then construction on his roof to begin.
I don't know. I put everything in the hand of God.
From Marrero, Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.
New Orleans natives have so many fond memories growing up in the city. And at the heart of those memories are the people and the places that make the city so unique. Our Leah McNeil caught up with one artist who took on the task of trying to capture all of that on canvas.
Make no mistake about it, he is no dancer.
See, when I think about you, I can't do right, I'm falling.
But he can draw a thing or two.
I'm just an artist that just love to create timeless pieces. You know, something that's gonna live forever, and I want my name to live forever.
A name that's short and sweet and easy to remember. Yo.
Keep on rolling.
Yo, the artist. He's been creating full-time since 2012.
I stuck with it. I always knew that it was gonna eventually pay off.
And pay off it did.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm still kinda, you know, taking it all in.
Back in June, the New Orleans native crafted a love letter that's just so New Orleans.
It touches people's soul.
The core of the Crescent City on canvas.
You know, that's New Orleans. Jeans po' boys, we miss jeans, all the way down to Jazzland. Who doesn't know about Chiwis, a hot sausage, and a big shot? You know, that's New Orleans.
With thousands of people falling in love with his work, he decided to do it all over again.
Getting ready, getting ready, getting ready, ready. Check this out.
We do not play about our high schools. DJ Jubilee, him creating that song, what's the name of your school? It just gave me inspiration.
It's a conversation piece for sure.
I decided I wanted to put a lot of the rival schools next to each other because now it's a different conversation.
A piece that symbolizes where we've been and what's to come. As for what's next, we can't say for sure.
I have some ideas, but you know me, I like to just spring it on them.
Okay.
I like to spring it on them, you know.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But either way, it would undoubtedly be so New Orleans. Reporting in New Orleans, Leah McNeil, WWL, Louisiana.
After years of hoofing it, one of the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office mounted unit horses is now hitting the happy trails. Francine was retired and the sheriff sent her off in style. Or Whitney Miller was there for it.
At a retirement party,
but I can tell a funny story.
There is always a tale.
She threw me like from here to Timbuktu when I first rode her.
But not always hoofs.
Luckily so, I landed standing on my feet.
Wednesday, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office said farewell to its senior horse of the mounted unit.
The council thanks Frances for her distinguished service and wishes her a retirement filled with unbridled happiness, rain or shine.
Frances is 25 years old, and she's served Orleans Parish for more than 17 years. A familiar presence at major events like Mardi Gras, and serving 3 sheriffs since 2007.
She was good to me. Now, did she listen to me? No. Did she do what she wanted to do? Yes. I kept telling you I was a sheriff. Did you care?
Over the years, she's appeared in stories we've told about public safety. And the last time we saw her, she was trying to beat the hot summer heat. But one thing reigns true. Frances meant a lot to those who took care of her.
You know, it's hard. But she taught so many kids to ride here, and she was such a good horse. I want her to retire and be happy. That's what we do for them when they're too old to work. Like me.
So no more work for Frances, just carrots and an open pasture in her future. In New Orleans, Whitney Miller, WWL, Louisiana.
In U.S. history, only 184 people, institutions, or events have received the Congressional Gold Medal. Now, those who flew the wounded between combat zones and field hospitals during the Vietnam War will be among them. Our Meg Farris talked to some of those who flew the missions.
They were called the Dust-Off Crews, the team of 4 on those helicopter air ambulance units that evacuated the wounded during the Vietnam War.
Get them to a hospital as quickly. It's a golden hour that they talk about, and we beat it every time, you know.
That must make you proud of what you did.
And sad, because the people that didn't make it back.
After graduating from St. Aloysius, now Brother Martin, Tran Asperitis became a medic who flew those missions. You were a teenager seeing some of the worst battle wounds day after day. How did that change you?
I'm sitting here today. I don't know.
Aircraft Commander Doug Peterson of Fort Worth piloted those Huey choppers. Over 11 years, crews rescued 900,000 soldiers and civilians.
It just warms my heart today to think that, you know, there's a Vietnam veteran walking around somewhere that was here today because of something I did 54 years ago.
It was dangerous, taking on enemy fire, hovering over the jungle at night.
I mean, 22 years old, and you're in charge of a multi-million-dollar helicopter making life and death decisions is like crazy.
And now, 6 decades later, the heroism of these two men and the other 3,400 is finally being recognized. Congress passed the Dust-Off Crews of the Vietnam War Congressional Gold Medal Act. Just days ago, President Biden signed it. It's recognition Vietnam veterans never thought possible after the way they were treated when they came home.
And I thought, it's not right for an American to spit on another American. And it still gets to me.
This is signed from a grateful nation. That's never happened before. Fortunately, if I'm in a room with veterans and they find out what I did, they're so thankful.
Just last week, Tran got another honor, a Quilt of Valor.
These medics just did miracles in the back. You know, they're starting IVs, they're clearing airways, and they're giving CPR.
And they say they really probably saved millions more because those patients not only came back home to their families, but had families of their own. Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.